Hey everybody, it's Kathy here, and it is the Monday, so that means it is Mix It Up Monday for February. And so today we're using this sketch by Mel W from Mel W Scrapping, and she's one of ours that are playing along in this Mix It Up Monday hop. So I have pulled together all my bits and pieces that I'm going to need for this layout, and I'm going to start with some mixed media, and I'm using the crocodile tears in the solar paste, and I'm going to run that through a stencil, and the stencil comes from Scrapbook Sketch, and I love this one. It's a star star stencil, and it's just got a great shape to it, so I'm just running some through. Now in this layout you'll see that I've done these two areas here, but later on I'll realise when I'm putting down all my pieces I actually haven't put it into the right spot, or I haven't put enough, so I go back and add more. But I love these crocodile tears because they give a green shimmer. Next, I am using the Distress Oxide here to colour up my chipboard, and I am going to have my title done in this beautiful, beautiful purple, and I'm just finding the name for you. And what I'm doing with that is I'm just covering all the chipboard with it, and then I'm going back over with the crocodile tear solar paste, and the Distress Oxide was the wilted violet. And what that has done is it's given it a bit of a shimmer over the top of the violet, and it will help it to set. Now I'm creating my frame for my layout, and I am apologising for my cockatoo in the background. It's getting dark here, so he's getting a little bit scared. He isn't very brave. Poor old Jack, he just gets very scared by the dark, and he doesn't like being by himself. Now, these photos here are of the Aurora Australis. So I took these photos last October when the Australis lights were really, really bright. So I live away from city lights, and so at night time I'm able to capture some really good night photos with stars. And this night I was out there taking some photos of the moon, and that aurora was there. It was beautiful, so I was able to capture it. And it, just like it is in the northern hemisphere, it was there and then it wasn't. So the day before it had been amazingly bright, and especially they saw it in the morning. So I thought I'd go out and see if I could see it, and I was fortunate enough to capture it briefly in my photos. So I've done some paper tearing with some leftover stock papers, and I'm doing another round here. Mel has the paper tearing on her horizontal strip across the middle, and I am just going to add a double layer of that. And I've also used the wilted violet as a distress ink on those edges, and the reason I've done that is to pull in the colours of that the night sky that you see in those photos. Now I am going to just paper distress the edges of this horizontal bar, and then I'm just going to layer up the torn edged paper, and that's going to give it a bit of a lift and a bit more detail for that horizontal across the middle. I have chosen the green because that's one of the main colours that you can see in the photos, and then I've also got the orange colour there as well, because you will see the orange tinge in the photo, and the red and the blues there in the photos as well. So all of the colours that I chose for this layout were reflective of the colours in my photos, and that's very important. I found over many years of scrapping that if you have papers that are complementary to the colours in your photos, then your layout will always look very balanced and cohesive. So you saw there that that was a photoplay paper that I'm using. It's one of their patriotic ones for America. Being Australian, not necessarily needed here, but I do like the stars on the back of it. Now this is where I come to realise that I actually don't have the paste in the correct spot. Now I could have gone that way and left it that way, but then I liked it with them running down the horizontal, so the vertical, sorry. So then I am going to put in my horizontal strip here across the middle just as Mel has in her sketch. And then I realise I need to actually add some more paste. And that is confirmed once I lay my photos out. Now, at this angle, it's a little bit tricky to see, but in those night photos, you can also see lots of stars. Now, I have these new acrylic paint pens, which are amazing, and I'm just using them to put some splatters across the layout. You can see there, that's where I've gone back and added more glimmer paste to the layout so that I have that mixed media in there. I'm using a purple one, and I also come back in with a silver one, and it comes out a bit darker. It's like a bit of a gunmetal silver, really, and I love how that has added that acrylic touch to the layout. So I need to let that dry, and I'll put that to the side. And the best thing about it, once it is dry, it still is quite a substantive, noticeable blob or splatter on the layout. Now, as I was saying, these photos, you can see the colours and how rich they were that night. And then when you see the close-ups at the end, you'll also see how the stars shone through and how bright it was, which is one of the advantages of living out of the city. You don't have all that background light. So I'm just layering them up, and my photos are overlapping each other because they're slightly larger than what Mel has. And it is now that I realise that I haven't got the torn pieces across the top and the bottom that Mel has in her sketch. And anyone who's watched any of my videos, so all my great subscribers, and if you're new, you'll know that when I'm doing a sketch, I try to really just pay homage to the artist, and I really try to capture everything that they have on their layout sketch so that mine comes together somewhat, hopefully, like what they imagine it to look like. So I'm just adding these torn strips at the top in the green. It's really good. It breaks up all that dark and it brings in the light, and it also reflects the green in the photos. I do have the title called Spooky Aura, and that's what it looks like. It's like an aura around the moon, and it does look a little bit spooky. And given that it was October, perfect timing for Halloween in America and so forth, that's probably a very apt title for this layout. Now, Mel has these banners in the top left and the bottom right. Banners facing up is something a little bit different for me, so I thought I'd just give it a go, but I'm going to use it as an anchor point for some clusters. And I've chosen the three colours there. I've got a deeper green, the orange and the lighter green, and I'm just going to layer them across the bottom there, and I'll do the same again at the top. And once they're in place, I can then add all the other embellishments to the layout. Now, we've Mixed It Up Monday. There's a whole group of people playing along, and what we're expected to do is to use our mixed media on the layout. Now, this one, I have used mixed media through my paste and my acrylic paints, but I'm also using some Nuvo drops later on down the track. Mixed media doesn't just mean the messy, wet stuff. It can also mean things like fibres and ribbons and threads and buttons and brads and all those sorts of things, because it's mixed media, another media other than the paper. So I'm just layering up all the ephemera, and I fortunately had a celestial type ephemera pack that I was able to utilise pieces from, and I'm just layering up some stars around the layout, which I will pop with some foam tape. And I also have this tiny little star punch, which I'm just going to cut a couple of stars out of and use them to go onto those banners, just to give them the tie-in with the rest of the layout. So off screen, I've now put all the embellishments down, and you can see where I've popped them with foam tape in some cases. I'm adding in Nuvo drops now into the three strategic points to build up that visual triangle for your eye to roam around the layout. And that's how this layout has really come together, using mixed media and creating a celestial layout. So I'm just adding in when this was and what it was so that people know. And there you can see. And that's how it all came together as a clustering point, as some mixed media, as photos that capture that amazing night sky, and I use the chipboard title for that extra depth. Don't forget to go and check out the playlist, which I have linked down below, for all the other people playing along this week to see how they have interpreted Mel's sketch and the mixed media they've used. I want to say thank you to everybody who keeps coming back. I really hope I've done something to earn a thumbs up today. Happy scrapping till next time, and here's my next video for you to watch.